What's going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys the weekly recap for the ICBA. Now, I do apologize ahead of time for the first 3 weeks not getting the week recaps. That is my fault for actually not having the graphics done in time. But everybody give a big shout out to Bill Standish, who made these great graphics for us for the weekly recap. This is just the intro. They do get better. And I do only have 6 games for you guys, as 2 games that we did have ended up in forfeits due to inactivity. Those being the Green Bay Pikachus getting a 3-0 win over the Portage Herdiers, and the Newcastle Umbreons getting a 3-0 win over the Worcester Walreins due to inactivity. But with all that being said, we do have 6 games that we can recap here. Recap be about 10 minutes for right now, guys. Not much I can really go into detail about these games. But we're going to kick it off with the first game. We have the San Diego Win Padres taking on the Silesian Septiles and picking up a 1-0 win. Now, the reason I'm saying 1-0 win, if you guys went and watched the battle, this game actually ended up as a 6-5 win for the Win Padres. This game did go to the full hour timer and did end up at 6-5, so what the admins and the coaches discussed was, for stat distribution, everything will get 1 kill, 1 death, with the exception of 1 mon maybe, and that is what we ended up doing here, and this is mostly for the stat purposes on the dock. The dock does not like handling a 6-5 game. It wants to register a team having 0. So instead of giving them a 6-0 win, we gave a 1-0 win, which is essentially what it was, with Buzzwell being the leading kill getter at 2, but it's going to be interesting, as this is the actual second game that the Win Padres have gone to timer, the first being in their Week 1 loss. So it's something to take a note of when watching potential live comms, is they can be long live comms. And I mean, live comms are good, lets you explain their plays. But just overall, there's not much explanation. Can't really go into detail about a 6-5 game that ends really just 1-0 due to just the stat distribution there. And our second game of the week, we have the Oregon Ducklets taking on the Reno Acerolas. The Ducklets managing to scare off Mega Metagross, Mimikyu, Terrakion, just that powerful offensive core, along with the Z Sandstorm Landorus that the Acerola held in the back and almost used to clean late game, if not for some hacks from Alolan Muck picking up the Poison Touch on it and proceeding to just stall out the Landorus until it ended up dying of poison. This should have ended up as a 2-0 win. Unfortunately, coach for the Ducklets, myself, decided to test the waters and potentially sweep with Salamence. Instead, dumb play led to a 1-0 win for the Ducklets. Unfortunate hacks there on the Landorus that really impacted the ending of this game. Mega Metagross and Greninja, Kangaskhan and Muck all leading the charge with 2 kills apiece. Greninja was able to actually clean up with Dark Pulse there, picking off Kangaskhan and Mega Metagross at the end of the game. Mega Metagross now takes the lead in the MVP standings at 8-3. Greninja sitting at 6th place at 6-2, I believe. And Alolan Muck is just outside the top 10, or just inside the top 10. I think it's sitting in at 10th right now on the MVP standing. So lots of MVPs coming from this game, potentially. The Great Lake Greninjas managed to upset undefeated Borussia Dortmund with a 6-0 win behind the back of Talonflame. For those that say Talonflame is a bad Pokemon, it managed to put in work this game and essentially show that it can still do stuff even though it has that Gale Wings nerf. Some just notables there. Pheromosa Speed Boost Blaziken not able to really provide that spark for either team, and it's kind of a common thing seen in the league right now, is a lot of those S tiers that players are drafting are not making that impact that many thought would. This is Pheromosa's first game of the season, as the Great Lake Greninjas just managed to pick it up recently. But over on the Donphan side, no real answer to the Talonflame, as it was able to pick off 5 of its Mons, along with Registeel picking up a passive kill. I believe it was a toxic kill. So there's not much that can be done about that other than just bouncing back next week against the Worcester Walreins. And the Great Lake Greninjas, I believe they have a pretty interesting Week 5 matchup, as they do take on the Reno Acerola. So you're going to have Mega Metagross versus Pheromosa next week, so that will be an interesting battle, probably one of the games to watch next week. As we move over to the Tasmanian Toxicroaks taking on the Carolina Pantherians. Here you're going to have the Toxicroaks picking up a 3-0 win, as Virizion and Kecleon will be carrying the team to a 3-0 win. Virizion picking up 3 kills. Over on the Pantherian side, Hariyama the kill leader for the Pantherians at 2-1. Darkrai with a so-so 1-1. Darkrai is still, I believe, 6-2 on top of, tied for second on the MVP board right now. So Darkrai's having its impact, but not as much of an impact as many expected from it. But looking at potential Week 5 matchups, what's important for these two teams, you're going to have the Tasmanian Toxicroak taking on the Golden State Wartortles, and you also have the Pantherians taking on the Calgary Flamewheels, who are currently 4-0. We'll get into that game right now. The Flamewheels do pick up their 4-0 win, or no, 3-0 win, as Reuniclus managed to pick up all 6 kills on Deeb's side for the Flamewheels. Deeb's now advances to 4-0, and I believe he's at plus 15 differential now. So I mean, he's having a pickup off of last year's regular season, which he ended strong. So Deeb's looking to go to 5-0 next week. As for the Rhode Island Rotoms, they did make several transactions. I believe a lot of them will take place in Week 5. A couple of them will take place in Week 6. So some changes being made to that roster, as the Rhode Island Rotoms, I believe, fall to 1-3 now. Just sitting way back. Actually, they fall to 2-2. So they are still in the hunt, actually, for a wild card berth at this point right now. So things are going to start heating up here quickly, as we're approaching the halfway point of the season here, and it's going to be very important that these teams start picking up important wins here in this middle part of the season, because late in the season it will get very interesting among those tight divisions. And then the last game that we have for you guys, the Golden State Wartortles will be taking on the Battlefield Torcats, as the Torcats will now be playing their final game in the ICBA. They will be replaced by the Toronto Swab Blue Jays and their coach Cap, so that will be changed here in the next week. As a nice 3-0 win, a lot of 3-0 wins here this week. The Wartortles being able to pick that win up. Metagross and Minior, the top kill leaders for the Wartortles, and over on the Torcat side, Magirna and Starmie, both just 1-1. Nothing impressive there. As I believe the 3-0 came from a passive death, which is toxic or recoil, so that is why there's only 2 kills over on the Torcat side. But for the Wartortles, they advance to 2-2, giving them just a slight advantage here over the Rotoms for the second spot in the division. The Torcats, who are now the Swab Blue Jays, will be taking over at 1-3 minus 12, so a lot of work to do, but not impossible to actually pick up a playoff berth, as if anybody remembers from Season 1, Deebs was actually able to come back from a 0-5 start, managed to make playoffs, and eventually be a finalist last season. But for the Rotoms and the Swa Blue Jays now, Swa Blue Jays will be taking on the Silesian Septiles, who are 0-4, so potential to pick up another win, or for the Septiles to start their mid-season comeback. And for the Rotoms, they will be taking on the San Diego Wim Padres, who are sitting atop of the division right now with a record of 2-2. So very close divisions over in the Sun Conference. Out in the Moon Conference, you're starting to see the players separate themselves from the pack, with the Borussia Donphans sitting at 4-1. You have the Oregon Ducklets at 4-1 as well. So it's going to be interesting here these last 5 weeks of the season, as we're going to start getting down into the very important parts of the season here. But as far as uploads, you guys will not have Week 5 uploads this coming Monday, which I believe is the 18th. You guys will actually get the uploads the 25th, and that is mostly so us as coaches can have a week, do our battles a week in advance from our uploads. So this next week we will be playing our Week 6 matches, and those will be uploaded the first week of October. And it's mostly so all coaches have time to edit their videos properly, and just make them look pleasing. They don't want to put out bad content, so it's mostly to give coaches time to sit down and edit, render their videos the way they want to, and not having to play their battles on a Sunday night and try to render it all, record it on a Monday morning. So that will be the situation for the Week 5 uploads. I do apologize for it being that way, but it's just so that the coaches can put out good videos, good content for you guys. But with all that being said, guys, I am Johnny GB. If you guys enjoyed this weekly recap, go ahead, leave a like down on the video. If there's anybody that you want me to join and do these recaps with, let me know. And if there's anything that you guys want added, maybe a little bit more detail in the game. Again, this is kind of a last-minute thing that I'm putting up on the channel. But if you guys want a little bit more detail of the games, let me know. With this 1 week in advance, it does give me some time to sit down and gather clips from these Week 5 battles, and potentially add the Week 5 battle clips into the recaps as well. If you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comment section below. But with all that being said, guys, I am Johnny GB for the ICBA, and I'm out.